Ultamize. If you want to stop procrastinating today, do this. Before you begin any task, write down the exact next action in one simple sentence. Not the whole project, just the next step. For example, instead of writing work on presentation, write open slides and rewrite slide one. That level of clarity removes hesitation and makes it much easier to begin. Most people think procrastination is a motivation problem. It's not necessarily, it's a clarity problem. For example, when a task feels vague, your brain doesn't really know where to start. So instead of starting, it looks for something easier. Check email, check a text, look at the news. You do something else that feels more defined. But when a task is clear, starting becomes much easier. For example, if you sit down and the instruction is open the document and write one paragraph, your brain knows exactly what to do. There's no confusion. And when there's no confusion, there is less resistance. Think about how often you delay something, not because it's hard, but because it's unclear. For example, you tell yourself, I need to work on this project. But what does that actually mean? Where do you start? What is the first step? Because if that isn't clear, you hesitate, and hesitation leads to delay. That's why many people feel stuck, even when they have time available. It's not that they don't want to work, it's that they don't know exactly how to begin. The solution is to remove that uncertainty. For example, instead of thinking about the entire task, focus only on the first action. What's the smallest, simplest step you can take right now? If you need to write something, for example, the first step might be opening the document. If you need to prepare for a meeting, the first step might be reviewing your notes from the last meeting. If you need to organize something, the first step might be clearing one section. These small, clear actions reduce resistance. And when resistance is low, you're much more likely to start. Another important point is this: your brain prefers clear tasks over unclear ones. If you have two options, for example, one vague and one specific, your brain will naturally move toward the one that feels easier to understand. That's why people often choose smaller, less important tasks over larger, more important ones. Not because they're avoiding work, but because the smaller tasks are clearer. If you want to prioritize important work, you need to make it just as clear as the smaller task. So if you tell yourself, I'm going to write a business plan versus, oh, let me check email, you're going to check email first. That's a simple, clear task. Writing a business plan, wow, it's so huge. Where do you start? But instead, you could say, write the first page of your business plan and summarize in one sentence how we plan on making money. That would be much more specific. Another example, instead of saying work on strategy, define a specific action like write three ideas for improving this process. Now the task feels manageable. The task feels possible. The task is more likely to get done. This also reduces mental fatigue. When you constantly have to think about what to do next, you use up energy making decisions. But when the next decision is already defined, you can move directly into action. That saves energy. And that energy can be used to actually do the work rather than energy on how to avoid the work. This is how clarity improves performance. It removes hesitation, it reduces decision making, and it increases the likelihood of action. The key is to make this a habit. Before you stop working, define the next step. Before you start working, review that step. Keep it simple, keep it specific. Because when you know exactly what to do, you don't need to rely on motivation. You don't need to push yourself as hard. You simply begin. And once you begin, everything becomes easier. By the way, quick question for you. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to consume content and how hard it is to actually do anything with it? I mean, you can listen to 100 episodes, read 10 books, and your habits are exactly the same. That's the gap most people never close. So if you're listening to this and thinking, yeah, I want to actually improve, go to ultamize.com. We've got free courses there for you, either on communication skills or building better habits. And it's designed to get you to actually use what you're learning, not just hear it once. No cost, no catch. Just go to ultamize.com and start.